Hey, Colabcoaching yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. Um, if you don't know who I am the Colab Coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate relationships, relationships with your friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship of all, with yourself. So today I'm with the lovely Melissa, and basically what I try to do at least every week is to have a different person to talk about different topics, issues, situations that's going on in your own personal life. As far as relationships, things that you've had personally in your own life, and things that you overcame, or things that you feel like you're still growing and maturing from. So today we're going to talk about the changes in your life, especially as they come to you. So I'm here with Melissa, and basically we'll go from there. So, my question to you, Melissa, is how do you deal with changes in your life, especially with changes that are coming rapidly?
That's a very good question, and I appreciate that. Question that he asked me is how do I guess, cope with the changes in my life?
Mm,
I've had a lot of changes, especially in the year of 2018. I can't even imagine to start with all the changes that has happened in my life. I graduated from school, up with my degrees. I got a great job. I got married. I moved from my father's house to my husband's house. Just imagine like all of these changes happening at coming at you at once, and then just completely transition of lifestyles. It's been very, very difficult to embrace, and I felt like I was missing a part of my life. I felt like I was moving too fast. I felt like I didn't really get to embrace my independence. There were a lot of things that I felt like I was missing. So it took me time. I had to take time to myself to step back. Everybody has their way of handling whatever their situation is or whatever they're going through. But for me, it took me to go into myself and reevaluate the situation that I had. And instead of being angry with the changes happening so rapidly, I chose to embrace them. Especially when an aunt, my mother's best friend, she passed away last year as well, which was another huge change because I can only see, you think everything is going the way you want, and then something tragic happens or something big happens, whether it's a marriage or a death, and just seeing how to cope with all of these changes and embracing them, it makes a huge difference. It makes you want to, embrace and appreciate what you really have, because you don't really know what it is you have until you really look at the bigger picture. So, I mean, I guess that's how I would answer that question.
okay. You answered the question very nicely.
Oh, thank you.
So with all the changes you said, graduating from school, marriage, new job, even death of your aunt. How did that affect you as a person? Like, waking up each day, going with these different changes, was it kind of a type of thing that's kind of overwhelming, or was it a type of situation where you feel like you can handle it?
I will be very honest to say that I did not handle it well. You think you're strong and you think you got it all together until things just start happening. You think you know what you're getting yourself into until you see those changes. Now, when it came to school, I was ready for that. When it came to like my job, I was like, yeah, I got a job. Not everybody, gets a job right out of school. So I was like, oh yeah, we in the bag. We got this. And then, my husband wanted to take the next step, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm at that age, especially being African.
Mm-hmm.
You have these expectations like, oh, once you reach a certain age, you need to be here and there, whatever, you need to be doing this. So I feel like, okay, well, that's just what I have to do. And instead of looking into myself and saying, you know what, I know this is what I want for myself. So I guess for me, how I coped with it was, it wasn't the most it wasn't the most effective way that I would say everybody should do. I had to go, everybody has their own way. For me, I had to go speak to a professional. And I know that's something that's kind of shunned in our community, but I felt like I had to speak to a professional because I know that I don't have all the answers. Of course, I spoke to the first professional, which is God, but I spoke to another person that I felt like was on earth that was more tangible for me, to kind of sort out where my thoughts were, sort out, my feelings, because I felt like I was not in control of the changes, and I didn't want those feelings of losing control to affect the good things that had happened around me.
Hmm.
So I guess that I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, you said that you honestly didn't know how to cope with it,
Right.
and you didn't know exactly what to do in those situations. So one thing that I do commend you on, first you did talk to God,
Hmm.
and then you went to go seek professional help, which is something that, especially in our society now, it's cool. It's something that people are talking about. But you know, back in the day, maybe even a year ago,
Yeah.
we were afraid to even say, "Well, I'm going to a therapist."
Like, oh, you're a shrink.
What is that?
Yeah.
And I commend you for doing that. So even as you did go through counseling, even though as you did, seek God for help, do you feel like you got a solution from that? Did you get a solution from dealing with those changes, or is this something that you're still learning even to this day?
Absolutely, that's a good question. I mean, you're asking me if I feel like I've come up with the solution after all of the, you know, the I guess the solutions that I tried to look out for myself, or
Hmm.
trying to go to a therapist, or speaking to God. Did I come up with a result? And I will say yes and no,
Hmm.
because you can't expect all of your answers to come to you at once. It is a learning process. So I will say that I took the time to reevaluate where I stood in my life, but I won't say that I've figured out every single section of everything that's going on in my life. It's still a work in progress, which is always a great thing because we all are a work in progress. So I will say that, yeah, yes and no to that answer. It took me some time, and I'm still working on it every day. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the, I don't have all the solutions to every question that I have in my mind, but I am taking the steps forward to come up with the best answer for my life. And I hope that, with my story, people will, take that step to, find that solution for them, whether it be talking to God, or whether it be talking to, a therapist or a
Hmm.
coach or whatever it is. It all is a good thing as long as you're doing it for your personal health. Because, we go to hospitals to heal our bodies physically, but nobody thinks about going to the hospital to heal your mind, because they both need to be healed.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that we seem to forget. And I hope that people will think about, reaching out to someone if they need it, even a pastor.
Right. So you said something really powerful. You said you took that first step to actually go and seek help.
Hmm.
What made you do that? Like, where did that come from? A lot of us, we like to bottle our emotions inside. We like to keep things that, how we're feeling inside, because one, being African and being black at the same time, we're taught to, okay, get over it, or hey, things will get better, or God will provide, so on and so forth. So what made you take that step to go seek professional help? What made you take that first step to say, hey, I can't do this on my own?
Mm. That's a great question. And that's something I've noticed in the black community and the African community, is that we don't go seeking help. And for me, I witnessed a lot of the things that was going on with my peers, friends, colleagues, siblings. I've seen how it's hurt them for not having somebody to speak to or to reach out to from whatever turmoil they were going through. And I didn't want that for myself. I've seen so many angry and depressed people because they just felt like, I have to be strong. I have to figure this out. I have to, keep this persona, instead of embracing the fact that you're not always perfect. You're not always put together. You can be broken, and it's okay to reach out to someone to help that, to help fix that. There is nothing wrong with it. If you have a problem at school, you go speak to a tutor. If you are having trouble with your spiritual growth, you go speak to a pastor or an elder. If you're having problems with your physical body, you go speak to a doctor. So if I know I'm having problems with my mental health, I went to go speak to a therapist. That's it. Just only made sense to me. There's a professional there for anything that you are lacking in your life. So I went to that professional because I didn't want to go through the same thing that I've seen my peers going through, where something tragic happens or something big happens in their life and they don't feel like they have anybody to speak to.
Mm.
So they bottle it up, and now it's affected them and how they coexist with other people. And I could see that happening to me. I could see that I was becoming more closed. I could see that I was becoming more angry. I could see that I was becoming more resentful. I could see that I was taking my frustrations out on the people that I know love me. And I didn't want to do that anymore. So I needed to speak to someone and reach out to someone that could help me sort out the thoughts and the feelings that I was having. I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I'm not perfect.
Mm. Wow, very powerful, powerful answer. And um, since you did go to therapy, since you did go seek help, do you see a change in yourself? Like, are you seeing a change? Is this something that you valued, or it's kind of like what everybody said, like, nah, I don't need a therapist. Therapist wasn't going to help me. I don't need to talk to nobody. Do you personally, you waking up each day, you going through situations, you going through the changes that you're going through, do you now see the value in exactly what it meant to actually go seek help?
That's a good question. I definitely did see the value in going to seek help. And you know how your mom or your auntie or your uncles always, or your mom and daddy always tells you, like, you know the answer, but sometimes you just need to hear someone tell you that's not that parent or that's not that big sister.
Mm-hmm.
And just hearing it from a different perspective, even though it may have been the same answer, just hearing it from a different perspective kind of gives you a different type of clarity, like,
Right.
oh, I knew that, but I guess I just needed to hear it in a different way, or I needed to hear from a different person. um or even if at the end of the day, even if I may have known some of the answers to some of my problems, the fact that I was just able to reach out to someone and just get it off my chest was enough. So I wouldn't say that, oh, I didn't need that therapist. I feel like I did need that person. I still strongly believe that that was the most effective thing I could have done for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just hope, others find someone to reach out to. It may not have to be a therapist, but that's something that I strongly believe helped me.
Awesome. So, my last question to you, before we close, is what are you doing now? Like, you said you did go to therapy, you did go speak to God. So when changes are coming to you now, as we know, as we're human beings, we're going to constantly go through changes. What are you doing now to prepare yourself or to get yourself to the point where you're able to deal with those changes? What are you doing now to help yourself cope with that?
That's a good question. For me, what I do is I pray, meditate. I take an hour out of my day. Maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's at night, just to have quiet time. And with that quiet time, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Some people, like I said, they want to take that quiet time to do their morning devotion. If that's what you need, that's fine. If you want to take that quiet time just to meditate on, how you plan on attacking the day, that's cool. If you want to go to the gym and use that as your quiet time, hey, go for it. Some people need to get some energy out. So I have different forms of my quiet time. I like to go to the gym for an hour. I like to, meditate on my own and just, listen to the wind, listen to my heart, listen to my mind, and sort my thoughts out. There are different things that I like to do, and it definitely helps. And I do that every day. And if I feel like I need to speak to someone, I'll definitely do that as well. If you need that help, I'm here for you. People, I reach out to people for help, and I know I'm not perfect, but I know maybe my story can help someone just get that clarity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the things that I do. I do my quiet time, I do my prayers, I go to the gym, and I speak to someone.
Awesome, awesome, and it's so important because it's now that you're from the other side, looking back at what you went through. But there's a lot of people that are currently going through that situation, that currently in the moment, that don't know what to do
Yeah.
and don't know how to deal with certain things that are going on in their lives.
Mm.
Let's stop pretending as if we have all the answers, because no one has all the answers for every situation that you're going through.
Nope.
So that's why it's important to go talk to someone. It's important to go reach out to someone. It's important to go seek at least someone that has been through that situation,
Mm.
to at least, if you're not getting 100% of what you want from them, at least you get 5% of something that you help apply to your life.
Yes.
Because we could talk about all day every day about how, oh yeah, I went through this, but I survived. But how are you surviving?
Mm.
How are you dealing with it? How are you coping with the situation? It's one thing for you to say that, I've been through it, but how? How are you? Because if you don't deal with a situation when it exactly happens, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it's going to come back up
It's
and it's
festering.
going to destroy the people around you because you
Yeah.
don't know how to deal with that situation and it only grew. It's not going to go away, it's just going to grow. So, with that being said, I am the collab coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate
Yeah.
relationships, relationships with your friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship of all, with yourself. Um, Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining me. As I said, at least once a week, join me on Facebook Live. I'm going to have a different
Yeah.
person each week talking about different situations, about relationships and things that you've gone through, that you have gone through, you're currently going through, and how you can help other people with your story. Um, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, I am a coach. I'm a certified professional coach. I'm doing a five. I want to get 5 new clients for this month,
Mm.
and I'm doing a 50% special on any coach package that you want to want to have. So message me. Add me on Facebook at Colab Coaching, COLAB Coaching, Instagram Colab Coaching as well. Um, but until next time, have a wonderful day and stay positive. Thank you.